pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilmember Irby? Here. Councilmember Page?
Here.
Councilmember Fitch?
Here.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Here.
Councilmember Tracus?
Present.
Councilmember Harder?
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
I move for approval of the journal of the meeting of January 3rd, 2019.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Journal's approved. We have no bid openings tonight. We'll move to communications.
Mr. Chair, we have no tax compromises, zoning matters, or road and bridge matters this evening, so I'll move to other communications. Under other communications, item number 1, 5th District.
Receive, file, and the agreement be approved as recommended.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, 3rd District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 3, 7th District.
So
Receive.
Nope.
Receive and file.
So ordered.
Item number 4, 3rd District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 5, 3rd District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 6.
Receive, file, and hold on the order of business. Same motion through item number 15. So ordered.
Item number 16, 5th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 17.
Same motion, and that will be the order. Please read the add-ons.
Item number 1, 4th District.
Receive, file, and refer to the planning commission.
So ordered.
And item number 2, 1st District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered. Report of the county executive. No report. Report of special committee.
Please hold on the order of business.
So ordered. Public forum.
We have 10 speakers this evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Please come to the podium when your name is called. Adjust the microphone so we can capture your comments for the record. Please give us your name and address, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. First speaker.
First speaker this evening is Joseph Hoffman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Hoffman, and I live at 6601 Higgy Road in Afton. I'm here to talk tonight about the proposed rezoning of the property at Tower T from commercial sporting facility to residential. A few months ago, Michael Burton brought up the possibility of St. Louis County purchasing the property at Tower T and making it into a county park that would have golf and batting cages. That is an excellent idea. It would provide Afton with a park that would pay for itself with the fees collected from golf and batting cages. Afton is one of the most densely populated areas in St. Louis County. At 4,480 residents per square mile, it's well over twice the county average. Afton has very little in the way of green space or parks. There is a serious need for green space and parks for the residents. Tower T met much of that need in a unique setting that provided for a variety of outdoor and park-like activities. Tower T is closed now, but Afton still needs that green space, still needs that park. Indeed, that outdoor parks facility was important not just for Afton, but the surrounding communities too, such as Crestwood, Webster Grove, Sunset Hills, and Lemay. South County is already highly developed. This growing area is in much more need of recreational opportunities and green space than for yet more houses in an already crowded area. Indeed, Afton is getting already more more crowded. McBride is currently building 38 homes very close by on Mackenzie Road by Afton High School. McBride plans to build 158 homes on the 27-acre Tower T property. That's almost 6 homes per acre, which is really pretty crowded. That's a bit too much. Adding so many more residents in such a small area has a negative effect on the quality of life. It increases traffic flow on already crowded roads. It strains utilities. It increases water drainage problems on New Hampshire and East Yorkshire roads when we get heavy rains. It emphasizes the need that Afton has for a park at the Tower T location. We need that park, that green space, that outdoor recreational facility, far more than we need more houses. Afton is already crowded enough. So please don't rezone the property at Tower T from commercial sporting facility to residential. Please look out for the good of our community, for the good of the people of Afton. Please vote against rezoning Tower T, and please consider purchasing the property and making it a park with golf and batting cages. The fees from those activities could pay for the cost of the park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Nicole, maybe Carey or Kia? On Shoto?
Happy New Year.
I don't think we've gotten to you yet, ma'am.
My name is Teresa Pellick.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh.
It's, the speaker is, I think, Nicole.
Go ahead.
Could you spell your last name for us, ma'am, please?
Key. My last name is Key, K-E-A.
Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of Co-op of Kinloch. I'm here because, first of all, the last time I was here, I had said that we need a citizens review board of our county, and I'm still stressing that. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the Center of Hope and Peace, because we're in Kinloch, Missouri, and we found out that our occupancy is bogus, it's not official, it's not legal, and come to find out that there's things wrong with the school that should have been fixed before we were in there. And so I'm here to on behalf of Co-op to say that Justine Blue, the counselor of Kinloch, she needs to fix our building, and we need a citizens review board in Kinloch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Queen Dougherty.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Phyllis Daugherty, and I live at 661 Bagnell in Bellefontaine Neighbors, Missouri. But I was here for the same reason for Nicola Kia about the Center of Hope and Peace. We found out yesterday that we had a lease that was fraudulent, and we was occupying a building that was supposed to be condemned. And I want to report these people because who we supposed to go to? The city of Kinloch gave us a fraudulent occupancy permit. I have all my paperwork with me. They gave us a fraudulent occupancy permit. I've been paying these people rent. We have no heat in the building. A lot of things was hazardous, as another man said, and we shouldn't have occupied that building at all. So how does she give us an occupancy permit saying that it met the requirements? But we got to move. And we spent so much money fixing that place up. It was like a forest out there. Deers and everybody was living in there. Rats, rodents, and we cleaned that place up. We spent about $15,000. And now we found out yesterday that this occupancy permit is fraudulent that she gave us. How can a city official give you a fraudulent occupancy permit to occupy a building and still be in office? So I want to report her in about that. I hope something be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Terry Pellick.
try it again. Terry Pellick, 7924 East Yorkshire in Afton, Missouri, just off of Higgy Road, right over the hill from Tower T. It's a new year. We are gearing up again. I have got 2 more pages of signatures that count, and we are down to the few that we are leaving notes on doors. People are coming to my door wanting to sign the signature. People are still coming up with the fact that, but it's over, it's done. It's not done. It's contingent on rezoning. So with that in mind, we're still pledging forward. We're still looking for their proposal. We'll have our petition ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Beth Wasserstrom.
Hello. I'm Beth Wasserstrom. I'm a volunteer at the St. Louis County Pet Adoption Center. It's nice to see you all again tonight. I wasn't planning on being here this evening, so please forgive me if this is choppy, but our town hall meeting that we've requested months ago was just postponed, and we need to have a voice, so we can't go any longer. The last time I was here, the resulting consequence was speculated to be suspending all the volunteers. However, I think several people had a reality check about all the time, donations, and financial backing we've been providing at the shelter. That would make a great story from a reporter standpoint. Budget-strapped county shelter fires 400 volunteers. So I'm going to start tonight by telling you about all the volunteers because many of them have already been reaching out to you. In the past, I have volunteered in orphanage, homeless shelters, worked with babies whose mothers have HIV, and chaired many school functions. And I have never worked with a more selfless, dedicated group than we have at this shelter. They inspire and encourage one another every single day. As a group, we have done incredible things this year and have saved a huge number of lives. We have lawyers, doctors, teachers, librarians, college professors, finance experts, and psychologists. We have people in advertising, IT, and even a radio personality. We have high schoolers, middle schoolers, retirees, and people who do their service with the help of a job coach. And we're all there for one reason, and that's because of the animals. On any given day, we find ourselves covered in feces, urine, blood, drool, or bruises, but undoubtedly worth it when we are also covered in kisses. Since the settlement, volunteers have been hit with a series of reprimands and restrictions. It was actually predicted, but I was sad to see it actually come to fruition. I personally have provided just over 700 hours of service to the shelter this year. Much of this was an adoption. I started doing adoptions last winter, when we were severely short-staffed. When many days the kennel staff was sent home to avoid overtime, leaving us with no one to help during the peak times of 4:30 to 6 p.m. I continued to provide this function up until 2 weeks ago when it abruptly came to an end. No one actually had the decency to pull me aside and let me know. I read it in a mass email hastily put out before supervisors left to enjoy the holidays. The email was so unclear that there needed to be an email sent clarifying that the previous email was to be clarified. So after watching many customers leave the last couple weekends, I stepped in this weekend and worked with 2 families, resulting in 2 adoptions. We are all frustrated. I have a master's degree from Washington University School of Medicine. As an occupational therapist, I'm trained in cultural sensitivities, customer service, and safety. I have a background in fall prevention and routinely deal with grief applicable to many of our customers looking to adopt after the loss of their pet.
That's 3 minutes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thanks, Beth.
Next speaker is Debbie Bissell.
Hi, my name's Debbie Bissell. I live at Creve Coeur Manor Nursing Home. I've been here before. I was one of the misplaced persons from the Stratford Inn in Fenton, ordered to vacate. And I was placed in Creve Coeur Manor Nursing Home with, I just found out, a program. It's called Money Follows the Person. And The overall goal is to support people who have disabilities and those who are aging to move from a nursing facility or rehabilitation center to a quality community setting that meets their needs and wants. But I've never been in a nursing home. I can work. I didn't know why I was really placed in this program, except I didn't feel like I had an option. That's where I could go, and they say you stay at this facility for 3 months, then they will try to help you get an apartment or whatever. I said, I can work. At the nursing home, I pretty much help out wherever I can. I even do the wheelchairs, and I make my own bed. I do everything. Just to keep busy, make the time go, because I'm used to working. And now I'm in a situation where they say, sign in, sign out, where are you going? And I just feel like, I just need to be in my own apartment. And right now, I've been told, well, you can leave anytime you want. And that's great, except I don't have the money right now to be able to go someplace, because they take pretty much of all my Social Security except for $50 a month. And so it's kind of hard to save up to move someplace, when you only have $50 a month. But I'm trying. I just wanted to let you know, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ronnie Abston.
Good evening, Council. My name is Raina Abston. I'm an import from Rolla, Missouri. I'm a tenants' rights advocate, and I've been working in your community for over 2 years. And I'm going to follow up with Ms. Bissell because I believe her story is important about failed transitional housing. The program that she was placed in, she was duped to believe it was about assisted living, something that was a part of the transitional housing program that is told is available for these people in these type of situations. Unfortunately, now she's been moved into a place where she has no privacy. She's sharing a bathroom. She's sharing a shower. She got people walking in and out of her room at all times. She got staff demanding for her to sign in and out that has no authority to speak to her in that type of manner. You have all these things going on. And so when you see something like this, does it ever make you wonder when you hear her story, when you look at the people out there in the streets that are actually homeless, that this situation of how this woman was placed and how she's been treated could actually place them there in this way? It has just been a failed, miserable experience for her. Now, I'm not saying other people in there didn't get help. I'm not saying other people didn't do jobs. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying on Ms. Bissell's behalf, she didn't get that. And how many other people, because she's not the only resident that's in Creve Coeur Nursing Home. So I know she's not the only one that received this type of attention. So I want to read something that one of the people who participated in the move that assisted with Ms. Bissell and all these people, what they sent to me in a text. And it says, "Hi, I know for a fact that the management gave everybody who had a deposit their deposits back in cash starting November 2nd, although it was a terrible thing done by the city of Fenton. It was a legal motion to vacate. It's not considered an eviction at a hotel. The new hotel owner and the city of Fenton police were gracious to allow the residents to live there until they could find new homes." So I just want to stop right there on the word gracious. Because what is gracious to give somebody a 4 or 5 day notice to move out right before Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's? What is gracious about that? What is gracious about putting this woman in a nursing home and have her blood drawn? These are the things that I just want to bring to the attention of council for legislation to be written. Thank you.
Next speaker is Robert Simmons.
Good evening. My name is Fritz Simon. My legal name is Robert. I'm 24 years old, second-year law student at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. I'm home from break, and the only thing that would bring me home from break and not bring me back to Kansas City a week early would be something as important as speaking on behalf of Tower T. Before I moved to Kansas City, my whole life I've lived in the Tower T neighborhood. My family has supported Tower T for 43 years. My father has owned Happy Joe's Pizza Parlor near Tower T for 43 years and supported the Afton community throughout that entire time. We love and behold Tower T with all of our hearts. Tower T has been a big part of our community. As I said, I grew up there. My brother grew up there. My whole family, my neighbors, countless friends, family members grew up there. We learned fundamentals of golf, of being around people, of friendship, of building bonds, but more importantly, just fundamentals of life. While it is a golf, driving range, batting cage, putt-putt, all that great stuff that people have fun at, it was much more than that. It is something that a community came together and we were able to bond with, and we were just able to share laughs and memories and somewhere we could all enjoy being together at not a costly price. Now, just in my lifetime, as I said, I'm 24 years old. I've seen Kenrick Movie Theater close, recently Lubley's Bakery closed, a go-kart track, Rothman Furniture, a florist shop, Wendy's, McDonald's, White Castle, Pizza Street, numerous bars and grills, and a little farther down the road from Tower T, Crestwood Mall. All these have closed and just sat empty for numerous years in our neighborhood. And to me, it's despicable. The one thing that I don't want to happen in the commonality that I've seen between all of these is that they've sat empty for numerous years. Crestwood Mall has sat there for over 10 years now. Kenrick Movie Theater, a place that we could all go for cheap, just like Tower T to enjoy ourselves, sat there empty for the majority of my life. Lubley's Bakery has sat there now. The McDonald's across from Happy Joe's has sat there for over 15 years now, just empty. And the last thing I want to see is a beautiful land like Tower T sit there empty again. Over my break for the last month, I've ran by Tower T multiple times, and the land is just gorgeous. It is too nice, too beautiful of a land to just sit there and not be used. As I said over my life, I've seen these buildings and these places sit vacant in our neighborhood, and it would be absolutely despicable again to see a beautiful land like Tower T go to waste. Like I said before, my brother and I and numerous members of our community grew up and learned fundamentals not only of golf, but of life at Tower T. While it might not be possible to bring Tower T back to the exact way it was, or we know it as, we don't want to just go to waste. We would like a green space there. We'd like anything to be used, concert venues, maybe a driving range again, but it's just something to where it can go to get use, to where other children and members of our community can use it as a place to learn the valuable lessons that my brother and I did growing up. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next speaker is Aaron, maybe Weller.
Hi, my name is Erin Kelly. I am the Executive Director of Step Up of St. Louis. I live at 12981 Baalbek Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63127. I have been here a couple of times and brought kids in to speak on the issue of vaping. So we're talking about Bill 270 that was introduced by Councilman Tracus. I just wanted to bring up a point that has come up in the last couple of months. In case anybody else didn't know this, because I wasn't aware. Not only is it legal for a minor to use and possess a vape according to St. Louis County ordinance, it's recently come to my attention and the attention of our coalition that the age to purchase vape fluid, the majority of which contains nicotine, is 18 across St. Louis County. So while the age is 21 to purchase cigarettes, you can actually go into a vape store or any gas station and purchase the fluid for vapes if you're 18 years old. I've had many students tell me that parents are purchasing vape and e-cig devices for their kids. While it seems to be the exception to the rule, I sat one night and examined many municipality ordinances surrounding their tobacco laws. And it turns out several of them actually allow family members to purchase and distribute to a minor as long as it's on their private property. So now we have a situation where 18-year-olds can purchase and then turn around and it's actually legal for them to supply it to family members. I firmly believe that your council is in the position to send a strong message by passing Bill 270. Recently, the U.S. Surgeon General actually put out a warning, and he said no one under the age of 18 should use a vape device. So if we could do some work on this and hopefully pass this bill, we would really appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Kristen, and Mr. Chair, I can't read the last name.
Hi, my name is Kristen Bankson, Bengtson. It's a hard one. I live at 10332 Sonoy Drive in Creve Coeur, 63146. I'm here as a representative of NCADA, National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. I'm the Associate Director of Community Strategy there. So we're here today, just as we have been in previous weeks, to address Bill 270. I'd just like to reiterate what my colleagues have said in weeks past, that NCADA does not support laws that involve youth in the criminal justice system for issues that are related to public health. We are, of course, concerned with the rise of e-cigarette and vape use amongst youth, and we fully support evidence-based education and other strategies to address this growing issue. But unfortunately, Bill 270 is not the answer. These types of laws and penalties are not proven to reduce use among youth, and they are disproportionately applied to minority groups, unfortunately. Legislation such as Bill 270 is not an evidence-based public health strategy. Groups like the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, American Cancer Society, American Lung Association, and American Heart Association do not support bills like this. I'm also on the board of Tobacco Free St. Louis, a local community coalition. There's other groups like Tobacco Free St. Louis, like NCADA, who are interested in making a change around this, but really want to make sure that it is evidence-based and it is a public health strategy, not something that we aren't sure is going to work. We would, of course, appreciate your thoughtful consideration for the need for evidence-based strategies around substance use, including around vaping and e-cigarettes. And we are happy to discuss any alternative methods. We are here as a resource for anybody who's interested in learning more. And we definitely want to be part of the conversation as any legislation moves forward or as any changes happen. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Kristen, just so you know and others know, there will be a committee of the whole on this bill in the first or second week in February.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I encourage your group to be prepared to stand and deliver with details and facts exactly what alternatives you're proposing, what problems you have with this bill.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I would encourage you to be prepared. I would encourage you to advise other groups that have an interest or stakeholders to be similarly prepared to present at that hearing.
We absolutely will. We will spread the word. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No more speakers, Mr. Chair.
That concludes our public forum. Please proceed with the introduction of the bills.
Bill number 7, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $3,000 from the United States Food and Drug Administration, appropriating the same for support of training for the FDA Retail Standards Grant Program, and authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents. Bill number 8, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $341,668.58 from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, appropriating same for support of strategies in the St. Louis County addressing opioid addiction and overdose action plan, authorizing execution of related documents, and repealing ordinance number 27,214. Bill number 9, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Rona L. Alanis, doing business as Muni Financial, for accounting services in connection with the 2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report and the related annual external audit, and authorizing execution of up to 4 renewals. Bill number 10, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract and up to 2 renewals with Melissa Spowell, doing business as J.W. Terrell Retirement Services, for employee benefits consulting services. Bill number 11, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance amending ordinance number 27,030 by repealing and reenacting Section 2 pertaining to 4 grants from the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Bill number 12, introduced by, Mr. Chair, this is a bill requested by Councilmember Walton Gray. Will someone be introducing this for her?
I'll introduce it for her.
Bill number 12, introduced by Councilmember Page for Councilmember Walton Gray, An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with ShotSpotter Incorporated for implementation of the ShotSpotter program in the Spanish Lake neighborhood. Bill number 13, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance approving acceptance of donation of $3,000 from John and Edith Brewer, appropriating same for support of transportation costs of health center patients. Bill number 14, introduced by Councilmember Clancy, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Charlton Corporation for infill and maintenance repairs for the Shaw Park Drive Garage, number 16-021-OC. Mr. Chair, that is all the bills.
Perfection.
Bill number 202, introduced by Councilmember Page.
This is a bill that's been on the agenda for some time, and we've had some discussions about how to perhaps make this more generous, but I think our options are limited. So I'd like to go ahead and vote on this, and I move to perfect Bill number 202.
Second.
All in favor of perfection of Bill 202?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 208, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move to hold substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 208.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 208 will be held.
Bill number 270, introduced by Councilmember Wassinger for Councilmember Tracus.
Please hold on the order of business, and as I indicated, Mr. Chair, we've agreed that a committee of the whole will be held on this bill for all stakeholders to be heard, probably the first or second week of next month, February.
We'll look at our calendars. We'd like to get that posted. Bill 270 will be held.
Bill number 327, introduced by Councilmember Page. Mr. Chair, I have a substitute bill.
Please read the substitute.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 327, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance amending Title 11, St. Louis County Revised Ordinances 1974 as amended, Public Works and Building Regulations by enacting and adding a new chapter, to be known as Chapter 1106, Small Wireless Facility Deployment, pertaining to deployment of small wireless facilities.
Move for adoption of substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 327.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Substitute Bill number 1 is adopted. I move for perfection of substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 327.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 327 is perfected.
Bill number 339, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move to hold Bill number 339.
Bill number 339 will be held. I know we've had some conversation about cost of living adjustment for employees county employees who did not receive a pay raise over the past 2 years from Proposition P funds. And I know that the council is interested in trying to address this. We've passed a resolution unanimously to, or nearly unanimously to ask for a pay study, try and decide how to fill these gaps and look at our available revenue. But I don't think anyone here is interested in taking away any of the Proposition P pay raises that have been received by any county employees. And I hope we can get that message to our county employees. Unfortunately, I've heard some conversations otherwise. Is there anyone on the council that's interested in removing any of the pay raises that have been passed over the past 2 years? No, I didn't think so. So hopefully that message can be relayed. But I do think we need to have a hearing on this, and we need to find a way to move forward to try and find some way to help our county employees that weren't part of the Proposition P pay raise and do so in a way that we can afford. And I think we need to move forward with the pay study.
Can I just add to that?
Yes.
Particularly the ones who should have been included as public safety employees in the first place. I mean, I'm an advocate for all of them. I mean, going 10 years or so without a pay raise, a pay increase for our employees is just, it's difficult, I'm sure, and it's hard to swallow. So, but I do think that the people who should have been included in the Prop P funding for as public safety employees should definitely be considered.
Okay. Yes, Councilor
Mr.
Tracus?
Chair, I concur with Councilwoman Rhoden. And I think we should, at the first opportunity, and I know our plate is plenty full, don't misunderstand me. But at the first available opportunity, I think this merits a committee of the whole discussion with respect to the subject stakeholder groups that should have been considered under Prop P as safety, public safety employees, and let's get that done.
Okay. Councilman Harder?
Chairman, I would also like to reiterate that, and as well as let whatever we need to do to move forward with the pay study. You know, if we need to make a motion or whatever we need to do, we need to get that done so we see the gaps and can attack the biggest gaps first in this pay situation. So I don't know what needs to be done, if we have to vote or if we have to draft a resolution or what, but it's already laid out in the resolution for our budget that we have voted on back in December. So I would move with all haste on that, so.
Thank you. Next item.
Bill number 341, introduced by Councilmember Page.
We had a hearing on this earlier today, and wasn't any opposition from the council, so I move to perfect Bill number 341.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 341 is perfected.
Bill number 1, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I move to perfect Bill number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 1 is perfected.
Bill number 2, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move to perfect Bill number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 2 is perfected.
Bill number 3, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 3, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 3 is perfected.
Bill number 4, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 4 is perfected.
Bill number 5, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 5, please.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 5 is perfected.
Bill number 6, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I move to perfect Bill number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 6 is perfected. Final passage.
Bill number 353, introduced by Councilmember Page.
This bill has been on our agenda for over a year, and we do have some reservations about the removal of some of these services in the community where they were most needed. So I would like to revisit this conversation, but for now, I'd like to drop bill number 353 from the agenda, and that will be the order.
Bill number 258, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move to hold Bill number 258.
Bill number 258 will be held.
Bill number 271, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move to hold bill number 271, and bill 271 is held.
Bill number 329, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move for final passage of Bill number 329.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 329, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 329 is finally passed.
Substitute bill number 1 for bill number 335, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move for final passage of substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 335.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
No.
Mr. Chair, on substitute bill number 1 for bill number 335, there are 5 ayes, 1 no, and 1 absent.
Substitute bill number 1 for bill number 335 is finally passed.
Bill number 336, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of bill number 336.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Abstain.
Councilmember Tracus?
1 moment, please. Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 336, there are 5 ayes, 1 abstaining, and 1 absent.
Bill number 336 is finally passed.
Bill number 337, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of bill number 337.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 337, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 337 is finally passed.
Bill number 338, introduced by Councilmember Dolan.
I move for final passage of bill number 338.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 338, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 338 is finally passed.
Bill number 340, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Mr. Chair, I believe we have a substitute bill.
I'll read the substitute bill. Substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Hymos Properties LLC for purchase of 5 lots totaling approximately 7.28 acres for construction of a new police precinct number 3 facility, appropriating $3,400,000 to Proposition P funds from the unappropriated balance of the general fund for support of said purchase, and authorizing execution of necessary documents related to possession of the acquired property.
Mr. Chair, I move for adoption of substitute bill 1 for bill number 340.
Second.
So this is the bill that moves forward the contract to purchase the land for the police station in
That's correct.
South County. Okay. All in favor of adoption of substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, it's my understanding after consulting with the county councilor that we had the opportunity tonight to suspend the rules and move to finally pass substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340. Before I so move, I just want to thank personally the county councilor's office for the diligent work, particularly Councilor Mickey Wachner and the steadfast determination she put towards this since last week's hearing to make sure that the contract was finalized and actually appended to the ordinance, the bill rather. And so I just wanted to point that out, thank her personally, as well as the seller's work in working with Ms. Wachner to get this done so that we could get past this hurdle tonight. So with that, Mr. Chair, I would respectfully move that the rules be suspended and that I think we have to move for that first, and then I'll move for the final passage. So I ask for suspension of the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you, and
carries.
then with that, Mr. Chair.
May I read the bill for final passage?
Sure.
Substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Substitute bill number 1 for bill number 340 is finally passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well done.
And members.
Councilman Harder.
Mr. Chair, I also want to make a or let the audience know and the people of St. Louis County that for the first time, a real estate contract like this has been and will be attached to this bill, and it will be public knowledge going forward, and hopefully all contracts of this nature will go forward and be attached so that people can see in a very transparent manner how these things are negotiated and what we pay for our real estate in the area. And that was a suggestion that came out of our committee of the whole. I think Councilman Tracus brought that up. And I just want to say how good that is for the future and that these things are not done behind closed doors and then presented to the client, presented to the council going forward. So I think that's a good thing and a historic thing for St. Louis County.
Thank you.
Moving on to resolutions, Mr. Chair, we have 3 this evening. Resolution number 1, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
you read resolution number 1?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution, whereas Adolphus T. Watson came into this world on January 18th, 1919, in Clarendon, Arkansas, the son of Jesse and Susie Watson. And whereas nearly 80 years ago, on October 28th, 1939, Adolphus married Lurleen Reeves in Clarendon. And whereas Adolphus and Lurleen were blessed with 5 sons, Adele, Kenneth, Anthony, Adolphus Jr., and Byron, and 1 daughter, Bernita. And whereas Adolphus served in the United States Army during World War II from January 28, 1944 to June 8, 1946. And whereas Adolphus is the last surviving soldier of the all-black 351st Field Artillery Unit that fought in the Battle of the Bulge, where he earned 2 Bronze Stars. And whereas Adolphus worked for Oreo and Vada Construction Company, which he served with distinction for over 30 years until his retirement in 1981. And whereas Adolphus has been a member of Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church for over 60 years, where he has served faithfully as an ordained deacon and a trustee. And whereas it is appropriate for the council and all St. Louis Countyans to pause to honor a life so well lived by a gentleman so devoted to family, church, community, and country. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of St. Louis County, Missouri as follows. Section 1. County Council congratulates Mr. Adolphus T. Watson, as well as his family and friends, on the joyous occasion of his 100th birthday. Section 2, the Administrative Director shall send a certified copy of this resolution to Mr. Watson as a token of the Council's esteem, as well as their appreciation for his good citizenship and service to his country.
I'd like to congratulate Mr. Watson first on, as of October 28, 1939, he will be married 80 years. It's a major accomplishment and blessing. So, and happy birthday to Mr. Watson. With that, I say aye.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Right. Aye. I'm sorry. I said aye before I moved for the adoption. I move for adoption of resolution number 1.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Erby?
Again, happy birthday, Mr. Watson, and congratulations on 79, almost 80 years of marriage. Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolution number 1, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Resolution number 1 is adopted.
Resolution number 2, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
I'd like to take that up and move for adoption of resolution number 2 and the same motion for resolution 3.
Second. Move, roll call on resolution number 2.
We can do them together.
Can you do them together? Roll call for resolution number 2 and number 3.
Councilmember Erby?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch?
Aye.
Councilmember Gray? Councilmember Clancy?
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolutions number 2 and 3, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Resolutions number 2 and 3 are adopted.
Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Chair. Item number 1, First District.
Wait a minute, I gotta find my place. Receive, file, and the county council will be directed to.
Thank you, Wanda.
Is this,
These are the.
oh, this is the, okay, I'm sorry. Hold from 1 through 5, please.
So ordered.
Item number 6.
Hold on the order of business, a motion through item number 8. We will have a hearing on this next week, I believe.
Yes, sir.
These are appointments.
Item number 9, First District.
I have totally lost
This one is to receive it.
Okay. Receive, file, and the county council will be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 10, 4th District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 11.
Hold on the order of business.
Item number 12.
Move that county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion for item number 13. These are transfers within the prosecuting attorney's budget. These are not subject to council approval by our charter, but if the position of the county executive is that he would like to have us approve them in a council meeting, we can moving forward, but the rest of the transfers we will process after we pass our ordinance addressing the issue. And that will be the order.
Item number 14.
Hold on the order of business, same motion to item number 17.
And moving on to new business, Mr. Chair, we have 5 prepared orders this evening.
I move for,
I think we might want to hold.
Ernie, do you wanna move the first one? Ernie? Oh, no, it's not.
I think it's the first one.
Is
it the first one?
It's a third
It's
district.
big.
Okay, so Councilman Fitch.
Councilman Fitch, did you want?
Ma'am,
you
go
did want
ahead.
to, Right?
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I move for adoption of order number 1.
Second, all in favor of adoption of order number 1? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
With respect to order number 2, Mr. Chair, I respectfully request that we hold that order.
Okay, order number 2 will be held.
Thank you.
Okay, I move for adoption of order number 3.
All in favor of second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Order number 3 is adopted.
I move for adoption of order number 4.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Order number 4 is adopted.
I move for adoption of order number 5.
Second.
Can you tell us what number that is? At the top corner, the identification number? Is it 0-5?
It's
This
5,
is,
that's what I said.
This is,
That's a
okay,
PA.
good, okay. So this was from a previous meeting. Do you have it handy? Okay.
don't have 5?
Would you read, the order we're referring to is number 5. It was distributed, last week. I want to make sure everyone sees that.
You want me to read the entire order or
Hold
just
on
the
just
caption?
1 second, please.
It has January 8th on it.
Okay, could you read the order, Jen?
Just the caption or the entire order?
I'll read the caption.
Before the County Council of St. Louis County, Missouri, in the matter of communication from Paul Kreidler, Budget Director, requesting a transfer of $64,900 within the PA Delinquent Collection Fund, appropriation of the Office of Prosecuting Attorney. If, you may want me to read the third whereas
Yes,
too,
please.
Mr. Chair. Whereas the said communication further advised that the transfer of the amounts to the accounts associated with them, as are indicated in the communication, is necessary to pay a bill which amount fluctuates annually for annual software maintenance.
Okay. Right?
Second.
I move for adoption of order number 5.
Second.
Before we vote, Mr. Chair, based on the hearing today, I think it's highly likely that this request doesn't really address or speak to a transfer, as it will be defined in the ordinance that will be ultimately passed. I understand the need to approve these funds now, and I will undoubtedly vote yea, but I do think it's important to point out that interdepartmental transfers are the movement of budget authority appropriated in one account and reallocated or transferred to a different account within the same department. I'm not sure that what's going on here falls within that rubric, so I'm not sure that our approval is necessary, as you mentioned earlier, but that said, I just wanted to be on record for that as we go forward with our ultimate ordinance to facilitate these transfer approvals. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Harder?
Mr. Chairman, going back to page 30 of the agenda, line item 12, this was brought up there in unfinished business. Didn't we just vote on that?
We voted to direct the county council to prepare legislation, and then
Okay.
what's before you is the legislation. It's a little bit different when we have orders. we see them at the same meeting when we have an order.
Okay, but isn't this double duty? I mean, if we're doing the order and legislation?
I understand why it looks like that, and it's not really clear. But what we asked when that passed us was to prepare the legislation, and now the legislation is before us for a vote. And the motion to prepare the legislation doesn't require a vote. The vote on the legislation itself does require a vote.
Okay, so the order that we just read is legislation
Yes.
that you asked, even though we're
Exactly.
doing it at the same meeting?
Yes.
Okay, just want to be clear.
We do that on occasion for orders. Any other comments? So I think it's important to recognize that there are a lot of budget transfers that occur that are not they're within a department as defined by the charter. Certainly the prosecuting attorney is not a department as defined by the charter, and the charter does not provide us with the authority to approve or disapprove those transfers, and we'll be talking more about that. All in favor of adoption of order number 5? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Order number 5 is adopted. Any comments by any council members? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.